Hello everyone and welcome to Simple Cuisine. My name is Harper if you did not know, and today, because it is a freezing, literally freezing day in St. Louis, Missouri, I'm going to be making, to kick off December, some hot chocolate from scratch, the first time in my life, and I will be judging myself on criteria of does it look right, or does it look like a stock photo, perfect, delicious. I want to have this kind of dish. And of course, more importantly, does it actually taste good? And of course, this video will be documenting my rises and my falls, my failures and my successes, because there's always at least one of each. So with that being said, let us begin. Also, of course, apologize for the lighting. So here is our pan, and I'll be pouring in half and half heavy whipping cream and sweetened condensed milk into said pan. I have to say that I am using Benjamin Babish's recipe for his Flanders hot chocolate, and I messed up a lot on this first stage. We're already getting off to a really bad start. Number one, I am using half and half instead of whole milk. My family, we drink half and half more than whole milk. I didn't want to waste whole milk, whole carton of whole milk. So instead I'm using half and half, so it should be, more delicious and creamy and blah, 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 blah. Also, I think it just says heavy cream, not heavy whipping cream. So again, hopefully again, making it nice and creamy and delicious and whatever. And finally, but not least, this was actually a real issue. This wasn't, a chosen issue. I accidentally got sweetened condensed milk instead of evaporated milk. It said evaporated milk and then sweetened condensed milk as optional. I accidentally put sweetened condensed milk as the actual thing on my shopping list. More or less my bad. And I was just hoping this just will be delicious and creamy and amazing. But more or less, I'm going to put this on to low to high heat. I want this to be steaming but not boiling, and I'm also gonna wash my hands because I have like sweetened condensed milk all over my hands. So yeah, as more or less what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of issues already. I kind of messed up. Some of it was my fault, some of it was Fate's fault, some of it was my fault again, but more or less we have the milk going, and let's go to the next step. Okay, so after a long time, not really a long time, a couple minutes, the milk is nice and steamy, and it looks pretty good. All the evaporated milk has, dissolved and become part of the mixture. Everything looks good, nothing's boiling, but it is steaming quite a lot. For next things next is the Ghirardelli, that word, more or less their cocoa powder, so just pour that in. Let's, like so, wow. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix this around gently. Fun fact, or depressing fact about me, I don't really like hot drinks. I don't really know why, but I've always had a really bad sensitivity towards them. I've never been a big fan of teas or coffee especially, but I've always really enjoyed hot chocolate, so I have a lot of high hopes of making a really good version. But more or less, cocoa powder has dissolved more, so let's start putting in these 70% dark chocolate. So I just cut them up into little strips, not strips, cubes or whatever, but more or less just gonna pour them all in like so. The heat is now on literally low heat. I need a little bit, so it can actually melt and all that. So I'm just gonna mix this around slowly for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes until everything has dissolved nicely. So I'll be back to you guys when that happens. So I just actually read the recipe again. I actually realized I had to put the sugar in first before everything, combines and melts and all that, which makes sense on, a logical level. So I'm just gonna pour all this sugar in. Did I say salt? I meant sugar. This is sugar, it's not salt. If it was salt, we would be in so much trouble right now, but it is sugar, so I'm not going crazy. But more or less, just gonna mix this all around like so, and everything combines, and then I'll get back to you again when that happens. So yeah, take two, let's go. So I think everything's combined. We do have some issues where you can see a little bit of the dark chocolate still not combining all the way. I have the burner on to very low. I'm just trying to get the last, little bits out. But everything else is really combined, there's nothing sticking. There's no big, huge bits left in the hot chocolate, but the, kind of granules on top were kind of freaking me out. So I'm just gonna let this, go on for a little bit more. I don't want to get too hot or start, scalding and all that, but I do want, all these little bits on the side and everything in it. You can see the floating little bits of chocolate. I want that all to be melted down. I'm not sure if I just have to leave it or not, but I'm gonna play Gone a little bit, try to figure it out, and then get back to you. But more or less, a little update from this very shaky camera angle. Okay, so it's been a couple of minutes. I decided that I'm either going crazy, or this is what hot chocolate supposed to look like when you make it from scratch. But I literally can't make it. You know, the like little granules get any smaller, or whatever. They don't do anything. They're just kind of like being there. So I'm just gonna call it a day, say I'm okay, and then go on the next step, which is, you know, the easiest and also more or less the ending. So just a pinch of ground, this is ground cumin. Oh my god, that was so close to being a complete disaster. That's ginger. Dang it, where is it? Onion powder, Italian seasoning, blackening powder, dash, red pepper, white pepper. Ah, found it. A pinch of that. Just got it all over my nice clean stove, so it's an accident. And then just a pinch of salt. Okay, literally just a tiny bit, because I do not like sweet and savory things together. Even a little bit, things freak me out. So I'm just gonna mix this all around like so. As you can probably see, it looks really beautiful. You know, I have very high hopes. It's also like, you know, scalding hot, so it's gonna kill me when I actually eat it, or I can drink it, but it looks really beautiful. Oh, actually, you can't really see me when my hand's in the way, but this is what it looks like. All nice and beautiful, just mixing everything together like so. As you can probably see, there are like these kind of chunks in it. Oh, come on, camera, work. More or less, you can see like these chunks in it, which does worry me a little bit, but literally can't do anything about it. So I'm just gonna call it a day, say it's okay. Okay, so let's just pour this in. Okay, this is actually, I feel like I'm gonna actually spill it accidentally. Okay, don't spill, don't spill, don't spill. There we go. Okay, that's enough. Oh, I didn't spill it. Oh, and then I did. And then let's put this huge bag of adorable little marshmallows to use. I love marshmallows. I'm gonna first drink this as it is and then put the marshmallows in. Wow, my face looks lighter now. More or less, here is the hot chocolate 2.0. It has been cooled off nicely, and so let us see how it tastes. So, you know, cheers. Oh god, it's really hot. Ah, okay. Okay, so number one, my mouth is actually burnt now. Like my whole tongue, trachea, everything, it's scalded, it's burnt, it hurts a lot. Also for some reason, lighting's really bad. I think the sun just came out like full blast and my camera can't take it, so I look really ghostly light right now. But more or less, what are my thoughts? So number one, for some reason the chocolate did not melt down all the way. Now I think it might just because, you know, the condensed milk did something, or I didn't heat up long enough so I didn't have time to melt or whatever. And maybe like, you know, leftovers of the hot chocolate, because you know there's a lot of leftovers, that will be more smoother. But there was a lot of chocolate bits in it. It was like very, very thick, and it had a lot of dark chocolate, you know, little tiny like miniature small half melted bits all throughout the whole thing. Again, I think that's because either the condensed milk did something weird, or more likely the heating process didn't actually do its whole thing and they weren't melted down all the way. I was being a little too impatient, which I think is a very high possibility. It tastes really good. It's like sweet, but like not too sweet. And because it has so much dark chocolate, because the dark chocolate is so rich and like very, very decadent, it, you know, it's very like dark chocolatey hot chocolate, but still sweet enough that you still really enjoy it without, you know, the whole like bitterness of the hot chocolate. It's also insanely rich, like because of the, you know, really, really high quality dark chocolates. It really is like a very decadent drink, and I honestly feel bad after drinking it. I think it's also because I am feeling a little sick right now. This whole thing of like the theme of me being sick over the holidays, it happens a lot, but more or less that was really offsetting, and it's probably just because I'm not used to having things that decadent and that chocolatey and that rich at a very high temperature in 1 or 2 huge gulps, which was, you know, the issue that was at hand. I honestly didn't really like it. You know, it did taste really good, and you know, I think the issues that I have are definitely my personal issues just with hot chocolate, or you know, with hot, you know, beverages, and with the fact that I didn't, you know, melt it down all the way, and the fact that I kind of accidentally messed up the recipe. You know, it might be too thick and too rich because I used sweetened condensed milk and half and half, and heavy whipping cream. And so honestly, I would definitely say a 7 out of 10. It was good, it was definitely above average, but I would never make this again, and I'm very worried that I don't want to have this again because it's just too rich for me. I think that's a really big issue. It's too sweet, it's too decadent, and it's a hot beverage, so it kind of makes it even, you know, worse. But I think that my friends and my mom will like this a lot, so hopefully that will be good. And with that being said, that's the end of the video. So of course, if you like this video, click a like. If you want to see more from what, just subscribe. Hope everybody's day. I will see you next time, and as usual, goodbye.